Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, aka Aquaman 2, was, let's be honest, a rubbish film, and certainly a step down from Aquaman 1, which, let's be honest again, was not a great film either. Nevertheless, the original Aquaman movie made $1.1 billion in 2018, which when adjusted for inflation comes to just short of $1.4 billion. In fact, Aquaman was the highest grossing movie of the DCEU. Not saying much, I know, considering the mess of the DC Extended Universe, but nonetheless, 2018's Aquaman was a certified box office success. 2023's Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, however, made just under $400 million, so essentially $1 billion less. So how on earth did the sequel to a $1.4 billion movie do so poorly at the box office? In this video, we'll look at all the obvious and not so obvious reasons why Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom did so badly compared to Aquaman 1, and how it really was a spectacular medley of studio mistakes, actresses pooing on beds, and factors outside of Warner Bros. Control, such as superhero fatigue and COVID.
But now, I'm a husband and a father, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
After the brilliant financial result of Aquaman, you would assume that Warner Bros. Wanted to get the cogs turning on a sequel straight away. But due to an incredible number of terrible decisions, this sequel was delayed by years. The first delay for the sequel was in early 2019, as lead Jason Momoa conveyed to Warner Bros. That he wanted a breather, and director James Wan was also wanting to make a spin-off movie before the Aquaman sequel. This spin-off was named The Trench. The film would be about the mysterious creatures that lurked in it, with Black Manta as the lead. The Trench was set to be a horror film and would be without Aquaman. One reason for this is so that Aquaman's story could be told later on, tying in with more Justice League characters, after they were fully introduced and explored with their own movies. So Warner Bros. Sort of banked on future Aquaman films being hits, and saw no reason to rush production for Aquaman 2. Warner Bros. Were also right in the middle of implementing a big tonal change for the DCEU, and with Zack Snyder leaving / effectively being fired from his Justice League movie the year before Aquaman was released, the studio wanted a more light-hearted, Marvel-esque tone for their DC movies, more in the veins of the MCU than a dark and gritty style of Snyder. The Trench, quite obviously, didn't fit into this DCEU course correction, and so a lot of time was wasted on pre-production for that spin-off. Then, COVID struck, so at least a year can be written off for progress on the Aquaman sequel. And then in late 2022, the utterly forgettable Black Adam was released, costing $200 million and making only $390 million at the box office. It was the final nail in the coffin for the DCEU. Warner Bros. Then hired James Gunn and Peter Safran to completely reboot the DC superhero universe that Aquaman was a part of. And shortly after this, the writer and actor strikes hit, delaying Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom even further. Lost Kingdom's release date was moved to March 2023 and then pushed back a further 9 months to December 2023. And of course, we had the Heard vs. Depp court case, playing out live for the world to watch. The Lost Kingdom was mentioned throughout the court proceedings, and Amber Heard's alleged reduced role in it. And this bad press most certainly contributed to the delay of the movie.
On my side of the bed was human fecal matter.
Amber Heard's popularity was, let's say, rather low at this time, leading to millions of people signing the Change.org petition to remove her from Lost Kingdom and recast Mira. In this background of very strong anti-Amber Heard sentiment, initial screen tests of Lost Kingdom were being aired to selective audiences. And how did these screen tests go? Well, let's just say they weren't positive. The feedback from the screen tests led to numerous reshoots and edits, which is never a good sign for a movie to be having so late in its production run. Some sources reference the extensive VFX work that was needed for the sequel, also contributing to its delay. as well as James Wan's busy schedule with projects such as Saw 10, The Nun 1 and 2, Megan, Mortal Kombat, and Insidious Red Door, all being projects that he had produced since Aquaman 1.
Oh yeah, I finally got a job. I'm the king of Atlantis.
So yeah, a lot went wrong in a 5-year gap between Aquaman 1 and Aquaman 2. And if you remove the constant negative PR surrounding the DCEU and even the quality of the film itself, the environment The Lost Kingdom was released into was worlds apart from the cinema landscape in 2018 when Aquaman was released. Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War and Deadpool 2 came out in 2018. And in the DCEU, Justice League wasn't exactly universally loved, but before that, Wonder Woman was released, and there was certainly a buzz around a DC superhero universe, less than the MCU of course, but still, the excitement for superhero films, combined with the incredible popularity of Jason Momoa, meant that Aquaman had so much going in its favour on its release. Contrast this with The Lost Kingdom in 2023, where Ant-Man Quantumania kicked off the year and all but confirmed superhero fatigue, especially movies with the less well-known superheroes. And Lost Kingdom had the unholy trinity of Shazam, Fury of the Gods, The Flash, and Blue Beetle preceding its release, as well as James Gunn announcing that the DCEU was dead, which was an outstanding lack of foresight considering that there were 4 films yet to release when Gunn announced the rebooted DCU. Of those 4 movies, Aquaman 2 was the final film to close out the walking corpse that was the DCEU.
Then into Aquaman 2, which leads directly into our next few projects, which I'm going to tell you about now.
So there certainly were quite a few reasons leading up to Lost Kingdom's release that meant it was highly unlikely to reach the box office heights of Aquaman 1. But in my opinion, what sealed Lost Kingdom's fate was the quality of the film itself. It's a very bad film. It didn't need to be a masterfully written, emotionally mature movie. We the audience already know what to expect. But every issue in the first film is 10 times more prominent in Lost Kingdom. And everything that made Aquaman 1 fun is mostly missing. The awe-inspiring visuals, fantastical underwater creatures, and fun and emotional themes of the first movie were replaced in Lost Kingdom by shockingly bad CGI, completely forgettable brown marsh landscapes, and a confused and stuffy plot. If there was ever a movie that personified creative tiredness, it's Lost Kingdom. Patrick Wilson, Jason Momoa, and Randall Park bring enough to warrant faint praise, but the weak villain, uneven pace, and almost uncomfortably bad visuals really did sink Lost Kingdom into mediocrity. I really can't see anyone recommending the movie to family and friends. For Aquaman 1, I lost count of how many times I heard the sentence, "I know it's dumb, but I really enjoyed Aquaman." Whereas all you can say about Lost Kingdom is, it's dumb. Period. The lack of enthusiasm for Lost Kingdom is evident in its Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb scores. Aquaman 1 had a critic score of 66%, audience score of 72%, and 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb, whereas Lost Kingdom received a 34% critic score, a 69% audience score, and an IMDb rating of 5.8 out of 10. So for those who were on the fence whether to watch Lost Kingdom or not, they were most likely turned off by the reviews. It's also worth noting that Lost Kingdom's streaming date was January the 23rd, which is only 1 month and 1 day after its theatrical release. So if you didn't see the film in the first few weeks of its release run, there was no real reason to watch it in the theatre, when it's coming to Amazon Prime a few weeks later.
We need to find Manta.
He's different now. He's stronger than before.
Truth be told, considering all these factors, I'm actually surprised Lost Kingdom managed to make $400 million. Yes, it's a huge reduction from Aquaman 1, but I'm not sure that I've ever seen a movie with so many aspects going against it. Starring the most disliked actress on planet Earth, being part of a shockingly mismanaged cinematic franchise that's been declared dead for over a year, coming at least 2 years too late, and actually being quite a rubbish film. We should also consider that for all the reasons made earlier, Aquaman 1's box office was perhaps artificially inflated by the excitement for superhero movies, and it just came out at the right time. So Aquaman 2 never really had a chance to meet the same level of box office results, even without all the drama that affected its production. Yes, Aquaman 2 didn't break even, and made $1 billion less than its predecessor, but I actually think that Warner Bros. Should be quietly pleased it made over $200 million. Unlike The Marvels, which was also a sequel to a $1 billion movie. Now I'd like to know, what do you think was the most important factor why Lost Kingdom made so much less than Aquaman 1? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked this video, then consider subscribing to the channel. I release videos every week covering the best films and shows around, as well as video essays like this one. If you really like the video, then the best way to support the channel and get involved with future videos is by becoming a member and joining Film Club. Thank you for watching, and see you again.